The first reading passage in the Book of Knowledge is a passage about Henrietta Swan Leavitt. If we take a look at this paragraph by paragraph, what you're really looking to try to do is come up with main ideas. Remember, reading for every detail is not the goal here on this task. The goal is to move through the passages quickly and efficiently, extracting main ideas in order to get to the questions. We take a look at this first paragraph, and what's the main idea? If we consult the first sentence and the last sentence, and we've skimmed through everything in the middle, well, we can find out that Henrietta Leavitt was some kind of computer who made an important discovery. First sentence and the last sentence really clue us in. Why is it important to highlight here? Well, it's very easy to be thrown off by a word like anachronism. It's very easy to get lost when we don't know what we're reading exactly. But in coming up with main ideas, it isn't essential to understand everything perfectly. It's essential to walk away with just the main idea. Here we have an important discovery, which is made by a computer, and that computer is named Henrietta Swan Leavitt. We take a look at paragraph 2. We've got a bunch of text here, and we talk about a couple of different things. Again, as we skim through it, there are a couple of different ideas that come out of here, but our last sentence tells us that computers are people that are going to be working to compute the data in the photographs, and it says that women were taking these jobs. Now, the opening talks a bit about technology. There's the invention of photography. You can pull out a couple of different main ideas here, but don't get bogged down in too many details. We've got some new stuff, some new technology, and we've got women called computers who are going to be looking at the photographs. In the third paragraph, we get a bit more from Henrietta Leavitt. She is one of these computers. The last line told us that a woman that was looking at photographs and calculating data was called a computer. Henrietta Leavitt, well, she's one of them. We get some more background information about Henrietta Leavitt, and by the time we get to the end, we find out that she's really good at this job. What have we learned so far? There was an important discovery made by a woman named Henrietta Swan Leavitt. She was called a computer, and apparently she was really, really good at her job. We take a look at the next paragraph, and this is really where we run into trouble. When we take a look at something that's this massive, and it's going to be covering a whole bunch of topics and content that we're not so familiar with, it's very easy to get lost in so much information. Magellanic clouds, period luminosity relationship. There's a lot of stuff here that sounds very sciencey. We don't need to be distracted by that. Why? Because what we're really looking to do here is plot a main idea and a main idea only. From top to bottom, all we really see is that there's some kind of discovery she makes. She notices the magnitude of something. And that last sentence, apparently fundamental to the eventual calculation of the size of the universe. Pulling out a main idea here doesn't require a complete understanding of everything else. This is the type of paragraph where students get lost pretty quickly and waste a lot of time. It's often where students give up, assuming wrongly, in fact, that in order to do well on the questions, you have to master every aspect of this reading. It's just simply not true. Main ideas are all we're after right here. Apparently there's a discovery, and it's really useful in the discovery of the universe. We take a look at the last paragraph here, and what do we discover? Apparently Leavitt did not do anything else. She never produced any other important work. We find out a bunch of stuff in the middle, but the other big detail, well, no, not that important. Actually, all the rest of the information just highlights the fact that other than the discovery we saw in the paragraph before, nothing else allowed her to be known outside of her field. She never did anything else important. If you skim through these paragraphs, what you find out in reviewing the whole passage, the main ideas can be extracted relatively simply if we focus on first sentences and last sentences. Be careful, however. Remember, this is a guideline and not a rule. It's not that you can just avoid everything in the middle, but it is that you're supposed to be able to move quickly enough to not get bogged down in the details. Overall, what's this passage about? Well, it's about a woman who discovered some stuff. That's all we need.